This is my 1992 Mercedes-Benz 300 SD. I'm currently peeling off the plasti dip I had put on the rims, but other than that, looking pretty good, looking pretty sharp. Gotta get a car wash. I've owned this car for a year now, just over, and it's been nothing but reliable. Starts up every time. Broken odometer at 275,000 miles. And it's just a real solid, good car. I got Stimpy back there. The reason I plasti dipped the wheels was because of the rust that was forming on this wheel. So just did all four to make it match and protect the one. But other than that, everything's real solid. And a lot of stuff still works. I have a little crack on my back glass, that's all right. But the hematite coated pillars, my mirror's a little messed up. I have the wipers on the headlights, automatic antenna. Alright, moving to the inside, there's a whole bunch of features, a whole bunch of good stuff in this car. This is when Mercedes was making real quality, crazy quality vehicles. Bank vault light cars, just soft closed doors, front and back heated seats. My center console, where the telephone would be in other cars, doesn't close. That's fine. I just use it for a little storage, my fast track and my hand sanitizer. Roll down the windows. You can see that the windows are bulletproof. Really, they're not. They're just double paned glass. Little door pockets. This is a little messed up because when I bought this car, it had no window, and this mirror was, it had fallen off. Someone, I assume, tried to move it with their hand and not with the button, the little the adjustable button right here, because it's electric. It's not actually just manual with your hand, and they broke it. So I think that was the end of that. Got the curtains in the back, little VIP type of look. Just from what I could see and calculating the miles with the 26-gallon fuel tank, I can kind of get an average of about 28 to 32 miles per gallon, which is, for a 5,000-pound vehicle, just amazing. You know, and it's nice to have a car that's built this solid, but in my opinion, looks this good. It just will not ever break down on you. Definitely is because it's a diesel and not a V8, but even still, this is just an incredible car. Compared to the 7 Series, like the one over there, while that's a arguably better looking car, that might break down on you. That old school diesel Mercedes reliability, that probably won't break down on you. And in my case, it hasn't and will not. 148 horsepower with the OM603, 3.5 rod bender, as some say, but I'm sure mine would have bent its rods by now. Let's check this thing out. Pretty beautiful engine. Everything's cast aluminum. It's a little warm right now. I was just on a bit of a drive running errands. This is my daily driver. I get the most fuel efficiency compared to my Mercury Cougar. But this is it. My injector might leak a little diesel. That's possible. That's okay. I was planning on getting a new one from Diesel Pump UK. I just have to, that's a bit of an investment, I gotta collect that. But I've done a bit of work under the hood under here. I've replaced the fuel filters, primary and secondary. I've replaced the power steering and hydraulic fluid filter that rests in this housing in here. I've completely flushed the fluid, changed the shocks, flushed the oil a bunch of times, flushed the coolant a bunch of times, just to really get this in to where I don't have to worry about it mechanically. I'll piece it together cosmetically, all this stuff. I mean, the granny marks from whoever had it before me. But, I mean, reliability wise, I want it to be a solid workhorse. I'm looking to get an injector tester from Mercedes Source, I believe it is, up in Washington. Just thinking about getting a pressure tester, just so that I can test the injectors and honestly start buying more diesel Mercedes. I mean, diesel Mercedes to me are just, it's the best of both worlds, where you can have a Mercedes, you can have something that's, you know, unattainable, new, brand new, $150,000 car. I can't buy that, but I can buy an S-Class from 30 years ago with ultra reliability in the diesel and upkeep it. Alright, I set up my tripod. Hopefully this crackling diesel doesn't send it tipping over, but let's do a little start up here. So pretty loud now, but I mean, it starts right up, comes right to life, and no issues. I mean, I feel comfortable enough to go anywhere in this car. This car is an absolute workhorse. Alrighty. And I mean, there's not much more to see in here. I have a half a tank of diesel right now, which is like 13 gallons. Clock works. My MPG gauge is extremely enthusiastic and hopeful. You know what? My oil pressure is a little high. It's probably time for an oil change. I do an oil change on this car every, I don't know, I like to do 2,500 miles, just because the engine oil is really foul in these. I mean, it gets really gross. I have some extra parts that I'm going to be installing soon. Turbo diesel badge for the back. I have a sticker right now, turbo diesel badge, so the folks know. I got this from a W123 at the pick and pull. I have also an Alcantara mirror, as opposed to the plastic one that comes stock on the older 140s. And other than that, I mean, I have as well, I suppose, an LED conversion in here. These are really bright, like hurt your eyes at nighttime type of bright. My sunroof works both directions. And yeah, I mean, everything works on this car for the most part. Everything that really matters. The best part about this car for me, I think, is that it's been so cheap and easy to maintain. I got it a little broken. No battery, no window, the mirror was broken. He didn't know if it moved or not. It had sat for 5 years. Completely sat for 5 years. And I came and swooped it up for $800. I mean, there was no better deal than that. I got it. I drove it 60 miles home after I got a battery, and have been driving it ever since. Alrighty, gonna start my drive here. So, could buckle up the seatbelt and make it real loose. I mean, as loose as I want. And all I have to do is lightly press into it, and it'll jerk itself all the way into the pillar. All right, and now we are off to driving. A lot of punchy torque right in the beginning, where I can kind of pin myself back, but then nothing. The torque drops off at 1700 RPM, which you can't see in this car, that's okay. Drops off at 1700 RPM, and you get full horsepower at, I think, 4,000, which is 148 horsepower. So isn't like it's a lot. Okay, I'm gonna do a bit of a hard press on it here and see how fast I can get up to speed. Okay, so I'm not gonna go any faster. That was flat out. I mean, that was pedal to the metal, flat out, and we got to 50 in I don't know how many seconds. I can check, but in however many seconds, I'm gonna say 6 or 5, we got to 50. So 0 to 60 is a second more than that. 7, 8, 9 seconds maybe. I don't know. I'd say somewhere in the ballpark of 8 or 9. But it is, other than that, I mean, this is the drive quality of all drive qualities here. Looking up at that 3-pointed star, there's nothing greater. There's no smoother ride. It's just all the bumps and road noise just seems to be suppressed in the perfect way, and you're just protected in this 5,000-pound behemoth Godzilla of a machine that crackles with diesel injection. Nobody coming. Press on it. CL55 cut me off. Respectable. But other than that, I mean, this is an S-Class with the premium suspension. I do have the hydraulic suspension, which I have replaced parts on, and it is a pain, but man, when it drives, it drives. When you just float down the road. Everything. I mean, this is just, it's just so smooth. Unbelievably. To return. I've done this same route with my Cougar, and there was, I mean, loads of more body roll than what's in this car. This car has little to no body roll in the corners, even though it's 2,000 pounds heavier. I mean, it's just, these were marvels of engineering. I've ridden in cars that are newer today. I mean, I own cars from back then. I've owned other cars from back then, and just, this is it. I mean, this is the smoothest car I have ever been in. The most solid feeling car I've ever been in. And it's just a different level of solidness. This isn't just a, I don't know. I don't know. This was put together in a very particular way. The engineering in this car was all for reliability, all not quite yet in the name of planned obsolescence, more in the name of make the greatest car you can possibly make. And to me, that's just another testament of why it is, especially in the diesel form, the most perfect car to drive, to own, possibly ever made.